Okay.
Well, simply because everything is washed up over there. We were great people once, but that was yesterday, the day before yesterday. Now we're a topic in ancient history. We had a great civilization. They are still admiring it. Now an American are learning how to cut hair. We are washed up as a race. We are through. It's all over. Why should I learn to read the language? We have no news. We have no writers.
Right, I'm going to get you to try something, alright? Let me try something. We were that was, right, F. Okay, 1 second. Okay, this is not going to be good for the camera, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, to try and get you kind of perhaps the idea of how I think he feels here. Alright, I like to do this. So if you look here, I've put some F's in the text. And for every F, when you read it, I want you to say fucking. Alright? Just to get the feeling of how I think he feels. And then when you actually do it, you obviously don't say that, but you can give it a try. So for example here, yeah, well he laughs simply because everything is fucking washed up over there. And we were fucking great people, for example. But that was yesterday. Alright, okay, so you want to give it a try?
It's funny. Well, simply because everything is fucking washed up over here. We're fucking great people once. But it was yesterday fucking day.
Yesterday fucking day.
Yesterday fucking day. The day before yesterday fucking day. Now we're a fucking topic in ancient history. We're a fucking great civilization. We're still fucking admiring it. Now an American learning how to cut hair.
Yeah, so you say, for example, now an American learning how to cut fucking hair.
Now I'm an American learning how to cut fucking hairs.
Yeah.
We're washed up as a race. We're through. It's all over. Why should I learn to read the fucking language?
For example, yeah, really good.
We have no fucking writers, we have no fucking news.
Yeah.
So get the fuck up.
Exactly. Now that I think is how he feels. And he maybe feels, unhappy that this person maybe wants to talk about it. So obviously you don't have to say the F word every time. But that for me gives you, and that
will be fun when during the performance.
Yes, maybe it will be fun. But I mean, when you did that with all of the fuckings, that actually sounded really good. It sounded kind of passionate. So now maybe try it again with the same passion, but without the F words.
Without that?
Yeah, okay.
Well, simply because everything is washed up over there. We were great people once, but that was yesterday, the day before yesterday. Now we are on a topic in ancient history. We had a great civilization. They are still admiring it. Now in America, learning how to cut hair. We're washed up as a race. We're through. It's all over. Why should I learn to read the language?
That was nice. That was good. That was really, really good.
We have no writers, we have no news.
Yeah, okay, cool. So when you come to that bit, just think, fucking, and then you go, right there. Go, that's really nice.
Fucking page. Yeah. You turn the fucking page. With fucking remarks.
Come on.
Come on. I always felt.
You don't get to do any F's. He does, you don't.
Yeah, His remarks work.
Because I'm a barber, I don't know nothing.
In Armenian. I had always felt badly about my own people suffering. I had never heard an Assyrian speaking in English about such things. I felt great love for this young fellow. Don't get me wrong. There is a tendency these days to think in terms of pensies whenever a man says that he has affection for men. I think now that I have affection for all people, even for the enemies of Armenia, whom I have so tactfully not named. Everyone knows who they are. I have nothing against any of them because I think of them as one man living one life at a time. And I'm positive that man at a time is incapable of the monstrosities performed by mobs. My objection is to mobs only. Well, it is much the same with us. We are old. We still have our charge. We still have a few writers. Aronels, Isaacan, a few others. but it is much the same, you know.
Yes, I know. We went in for wrong things. We went in for the simple things like peace and quiet and families. We didn't go in for machinery and conquest and militarism. We didn't go in for diplomacy and deceit and the invention of machine guns and poison gases. Well, there is no use in being disappointed. We had our day, I suppose.
We are hopeful. There is no Armenian living who does not still dream of living in peace.
Dream? Well, that's something. The Syrians cannot even dream anymore. Why do you know how many of us are left on earth?
2 or 3 million.
70,000. That is all. 70,000 Assyrians in the world. They killed 70 of us in a little uprising last month. There was a small paragraph in the paper. 70 more of us destroyed. We will be wiped out before long. Wiped out before long. My brother is married to an American girl and he has a son. There is no more hope. We are trying to forget Assyria. My father still reads a paper that came from New York, but he's an old man. He will be dead soon.
Then his voice changed. He ceased speaking as an Assyrian and began to speak as a Baba.
Have I taken enough of the top?
Yeah, thanks. The rest of the story is pointless. I said so long to the young Assyrian and left the shop. I walked across town 4 miles to my room on Cow Street. I thought about the war business, Assyrian, they're the bottom, learning to be a Baba, the sadness of his voice, the hopelessness of his attitude. This was a month ago, in August, but ever since I have been thinking about Assyria, and I have been waiting to say something about Tell-the-Bottom, the son of an ancient Greece, himself youthful and alert, yet hopeless. 70,000 Assyrians, and the 70,000 of that great people, and all the others quiet in death, and all the greatness crumbled and ignored, and a young man in America learning to be a barber, and a young man lamented bitterly the curse of history. Why don't I make up plots and write beautiful love stories that can be made into motion pictures? Why don't I let these unimportant and boring matters go hang? Why don't I try to please the American reading public? Well, I'm an Armenian. Michael Arlen is an Armenian too. He is pleasing the public. I have great admiration for him, and I think he has perfected a very fine style of writing and all that. But I don't want to write about the people he likes to write about. Those people were dead to begin with. You take Iowa's and Japanese boy and Tell-the-Bottom, the Assyrian way. Well, they may go down physically like Iowa's to death, or spiritually like battle to death, but they are of the style that is eternal in man, and it is this style that interests me. You don't find them in bright places making witty remarks about sex and trivial remarks about art. You find them where I found them, and they will be there forever, the race of man, the part of man, the series Majos of Winglet, that cannot be destroyed, the part that massacre does not destroy, the part that earthquake and war and famine and madness and everything else cannot destroy. This work is tribute to Iowas, to Japan, to Assyria, to Armenia, to the race of man everywhere, to the dignity of that race, the brotherhood of things alive. I am not expecting Paramount Pictures to film this work. I'm thinking of 70,000 Assyrians, one at a time, alive, a great race. I'm thinking of Tell-the-Bottom himself. 70,000 Assyrians and 70 million Assyrians himself Assyria, and a man standing in a barber shop in San Francisco in 1933 and being still himself a world race.
Very nice. I would say perhaps what you could do in this paragraph, this one here, this, again, you could repeat the this. So you could say, but they are of the stuff that is eternal in man, and it is this stuff that interests me. So you could repeat the this, because it's kind of a strong point of what he is saying. It's a very important part. So you could say, but they are the stuff that is eternal in man. And it is this stuff that interests me.
Okay.
So he's saying not the other stuff, not wars and famines and so on, but this stuff which is what I'm interested in. So yeah, that's quite nice.
Okay, but when I'm reading, I understood that I'm not. I don't know this text so well, so there are places that are hard saying words.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Okay, well, I mean, if we go through again, and if you come to a place where you think this is a really difficult bit for me, maybe I'll try it, and you can listen to me, and then we can think about what we want this to sound like.
Okay.
All right. So let's go again. And if you've got a difficult part, just stop, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about how this should sound.
Okay. 70,000 Assyrians. William Sorrell. I hadn't had a haircut in 40 days and 40 nights, and I was beginning to look like several violets out of work. We, barbarians from Asia Minor, are hairy people. When we need a haircut, we need a haircut. It was so bad. I had outgrown my only head. Okay.
Can I make a suggestion? That we barbarians from Asia Minor are hairy people, when we need a haircut, we need a haircut. That's quite a funny line. So maybe you should pause so that the audience can think about this line. So you can say, we barbarians from Asia Minor are hairy people. When we need a haircut, we need a haircut. Then maybe pause for a second before you go on, just to give them the chance to think about it, because it's quite funny.
Okay. I hadn't had a haircut in 40 days and 40 nights, and I was beginning to look like several violinists out of work. We, barbarians from Asia Minor, are hairy people. When we need a haircut, we need a haircut. It was so bad. I had outgrown my only head. 3rd Street, below Howard, is a district. Think of the Bowery in New York, Main Street in Los Angeles. Think of old men and boys out of work, hanging around, smoking Bill Durham, talking about the government, waiting for something to turn up, simply waiting. I had 20 cents and a half pack of Bill Durham. I rolled a cigarette, handed the pack to some of my contemporaries who looked in need of nicotine. My contemporaries were boys of 16. They looked Iowa, splendid potentially, solid American, but down, greatly down in the mouth, little sleep, no change of clothes for several days, a little fear.
We know better. Give it a try anyway, nothing to lose.
Fine birds. Oh, they aren't dead. Hope they haven't frozen. Mighty cold these days. Hope they haven't gone down. They deserve to live. Leave.
Not leave, live.
Leave. I hope you got working open. I hope you are earning money. I hope you have rented a clean room with a warm bed in it. I hope you are sleeping nights, eating regularly, walking along like a human being, being happy. My good wishes are with you. I have set a number of prayers for you. Can you just come?
Arigato. Very well, thank you. Do you speak Japanese? Have you lived in Japan?
Unfortunately, no. I am able to speak only 1 or 2 words. I used to work with Yoshio Inomoto, Hideo Suzuki, Kasumi Tsujimoto. Do you know them?
Inomoto, Suzuki, Tsujimoto. Suzuki is a small man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. He lives in San Jose now. He's married now.
I do not believe in racism. I do not believe in government. I see life as one life at one time. So many millions simultaneously all over the earth. Babies who have not yet been taught to speak any language are the only race of the race of men. All the rest is pretense, what we call civilization, hatred, fear, desire for strength. But a baby is a baby. And the way they cry, there you have the brotherhood of man. Babies crying. We grow up and we learn the words of language, and we see the universe through the language we know. We do not see it through all language or through no language at all, through silence, for example. And we isolate ourselves in the language we know. Over here, we isolate ourselves in English or American, as man can call it. All the eternal things in our words. If I want to do anything, I want to speak a more universal language, the heart of the man, the unwritten part of man that which is eternal and common to all races.
That was really good.
That name. No, yeah. How? That name. Are you an Armenian? Now, are you an Armenian?
I'm a Syrian.
Well, it was something. They, the Syrians, came from our part of the world. They had noses like our noses, eyes like our eyes, hearts like our hearts. They had a different language. When they spoke, we couldn't understand them, but they were like us. It wasn't quite as pleasing as it would have been if I had been an Armenian, but it was something. I am an Armenian. I used to know some Assyrian boys in my hometown. Joseph Sarkis, Nito Elia, Tony Sala. Do you know any of them?
Joseph Sarkis, yeah, I know him. The others I don't know. We lived in New York until 5 years ago. Then we came out west, Turlock. Then we moved up to San Francisco.
Nito Elia. He is a captain in the Salvation Army. Tony Sala was killed 8 years ago. He was riding on a horse and he was thrown and the horse began to run. Tony couldn't get himself free. He was caught by the leg and the horse ran and ran and ran for half an hour, then he stopped. And when they went up to Tony, he was dead. He was 14 at the time, you know. I used to go to school with him. Tony was a very clever boy, very good arithmetic.